Good morning, everyone. The Chief Executive will first deliver an opening remark and then we will take questions. Please ask no more than 2 questions. Chief Executive, please. Good morning. The torrential rainfall last week, after which the government has been working tirelessly to address the aftermath. On Sunday, the Chief Secretary for Administration hosted a cross-departmental joint conference. He said that our work to address the aftermath has been continuing. Yesterday, Monday, that was the first work day after the torrential rainfall. In general, Hong Kong people's life has resumed to normality. Certain roads are still closed because of emergency repair work. Only one lane of traffic is opened. Still, in general, the traffic condition is as expected. Public transport services have resumed to a large degree. For schools, on Sunday, the Education Bureau has received reports from 10 schools which need to be closed for repair because of flooding in campuses. These 10 schools were unable to resume in-person classes yesterday. Today, there are only 5. In certain localities yesterday, there were flooding incidents. It was because of concentrated rainfall in a short period of time. For some places, 100 millimeters of rainfall was received in the span of 1 hour. It didn't meet the criteria for issuing black rainstorm signal. However, it was still far higher than 70 milliliters in an hour. That is the criteria for black rainstorm signal. The HKO issued an alert and the Drainage Services Department deployed teams to address the flooding incidents. As the joint conference held on Sunday, the government urged the public according to our past experience, under torrential rainfall, trees and slopes would be soaked up with rainwater. It would pose a risk to slope stability. So there are black spots which would pose a higher risk. The government would take initiative to patrol high-risk areas. Still, the public should consciously avoid risky areas, for example, a slope or densely forested areas. We should maintain high alert. The DSD will enhance patrolling of watercourses and rivers and clear remaining debris to minimize the risk of flooding. In fact, the DSD has been working over the years to enhance our drainage capacity. In the past, we had some 120 flooding black spots. Nowadays, we only have 4. Over the course of the past few days, departments remain on high alert to address the aftermath. I thank our civil servants, district care teams, and various service units, including organizations providing public services and public services contractors. They work ceaselessly to resume services and repair roads, and also help evacuating residents stranded in flooded areas. To deal with this rainfall, which is once in a century, which is of a once-in-a-century scale, we have activated our government's mobilization protocol. Civil servants from 10 bureaus and departments were deployed to address the aftermath of the flood. These are civilian-grade civil servants from the DOJ, the EPD, the FEHD, the Departments of Health, ICAC, the CSB, the LWB, etc. To address the aftermath has nothing to do with their ordinary duties. This time they were deployed to the front line to help resume the normal operation of Hong Kong. We thank them. Now, for the next few days, there will be dedicated service counters set up under the HAD and other organizations to help residents affected by Typhoon Saola and the flood and are facing economic difficulties. The HAD will help them to apply for the emergency relief funds under the government. The 45 dedicated service counters under the HAD will commence service this morning. We will also deploy civil servants from various bureaus and departments to support the service counters. Concerning local farmers, fish farmers, and fishermen hit by this flood, starting today, between today and the 20th of September, they can apply for the AFCD for the Emergency Relief Fund. In terms of issuance of alerts, making response, and addressing the aftermath of this once-in-a-century heavy rainfall, we will collate our experience. Preliminary speaking, in terms of response and addressing the aftermath, I think all government departments have been operating on a high standard, and we have lost no time in addressing the aftermath of the rainfall. In terms of issuance of alerts, because of limitation in technologies, we cannot issue the alerts way ahead. Still, we will review how we can enhance the safety coefficient so as to allow the public to get hold of accurate and timely information. From this perspective, we will review our work. Once again, I urge the public to pay attention to torrential rainfall and rainstorm in certain areas in Hong Kong. Please be prepared. The government will also be prepared to minimize the possible impacts and to resume our daily life as soon as possible. Now, at this juncture, I announce that starting tomorrow, for 2 consecutive nights, Hong Kong will host the 8th Belt and Road Summit. This year is the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative. This is also the first time after the epidemic that we host a fully in-person Belt and Road Summit. It is a meaningful event. It is a record-breaking event in terms of attendance. It will be attended by 6,000 representatives from various countries and places. There are 100 deputations. As many as 20 memorandums of cooperation will be signed, and the meeting will be attended by at least 10 governments. These record-breaking numbers show that the international community is confident in Hong Kong's return to the center stage of the world. In this summit, the Hong Kong SAR government will promote Hong Kong's attractiveness as the functional platform and key hub along the Belt and Road. This summit will also focus on ASEAN markets while exploring opportunities in other emerging markets along the Belt and Road, especially the Middle East markets. Since I've come into office, I have visited various Asian countries and the Middle East. These are promising lands, and I have achieved tangible results. After the Middle East visit in February, we now have Hong Kong corporations providing hydrogen fuel cell vehicles and hydrogen refueling stations for the local markets. And also there are Hong Kong enterprises providing green design for the local market. And also there are joint businesses in the hotel industry. There are 3 new arrangements under the summit. First, we have a dedicated Middle East seminar focusing on cooperation with Middle East countries. And also we have a financial theme focusing on the Belt and Road initiatives and the vision. And also we have a youth theme on promoting exchange between people and youths. It will be attended by 150 youth representatives. These are students who have received scholarships from the EDB and also youth ambassadors. Our youth ambassadors are involved in the organization of the summit. They will be tasked to host the deputations and explain to them Hong Kong's opportunities. Riding on the opportunity of the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative, I encourage the media to cover the events widely so that more people will understand the meaning of the Belt and Road Initiative and also the opportunities brought about to Hong Kong and the world. Thank you.
The floor is now open. If you want to ask questions, please raise your hands. And when you're called, please first introduce the media outlet you represent, and please limit yourselves to just 2 questions. In the middle, this journalist in white. Good morning. I'm from Cable, Chief Executive. Now, about Red Hill Peninsula and the landslip in the area. According to media reports, some 30 detached houses are now suspected of having unauthorized building works and unlawful occupation of government land. What is the government's follow-up action? According to the Lands Department's surveying records, there is evidence that they are extending their property outside the boundaries. And for house number 72, will the owner be responsible for the maintenance of slope and the fees? Now, about the government mobilization protocol, as you mentioned, may I know the total number of civil servants mobilized? In the first drill, 10,000 civil servants participated. Is there a shortfall of expectation regarding the number of civil servants? Would you call it government-wide mobilization? Because in some rural villages, some villages have asked the government to provide more help. Will you mobilize more civil servants to help them? For Red Hill Peninsula, the landslide has resulted in some unauthorized structures being exposed. The government will take enforcement action. In fact, we're taking 2 prongs. First, on stabilizing slopes and ensuring safety. This is our priority because otherwise an unstable slope will cause another landslide, and this may bring hazard for other residents. So we need to investigate and see if the slope concerned is safe, and if it isn't, we need to stabilize the slope and minimize risk. So we need to proceed with risk mitigation as quickly as possible to ensure public safety. The other prong is this: we're going to take action against unauthorized building works. This will be dealt with in accordance with the law. That means for those breaking the law, they will be prosecuted. If the government is required to carry out works as a result of the unauthorized structures, we will pursue them to recover costs. The other point is this. In terms of combating unauthorized building works, we accord priorities to our action using a risk-based approach, because after all, we have over 40,000 buildings in Hong Kong. These buildings may have different units, and some of these may be low-rise, some of them may be high-rise buildings. So, frankly, we need to be pragmatic and target those with higher risks. So inspections carried out on a risk-based approach. However, the Red Hill Peninsula incident has revealed that some of the houses in this estate are now in danger. They're at risk. So, as per the risk level, the Buildings Department will carry out inspection. And for any suspected unauthorized structures, we will take action. So like I said just now, these cases will be dealt with in accordance with the law, such as initiating prosecution, issuing removal order for the structures to be demolished. If special works are to be carried out by the government to ensure safety, we will recover costs from them. About the government mobilization protocol, after COVID-19 epidemic, we devised the government-wide mobilization level, and this is applicable to all civil servants. But in each exercise, we need to have regard to the situation in deciding how many civil servants should be mobilized. And in this incident, we mobilized around 9,000 to 10,000 civil servants. They are given different tasks. For example, some tasks require professional training or certain expertise, such as road repairs, handling of incidents of tree collapse, the handling of structures, retaining walls. We do need colleagues with expertise and professional knowledge to handle these matters. At the same time, we have clerical staff and civilian grade taking part in the relief work to handle the aftermath, such as clearing tree branches, debris, helping out in our centers, helping members of the public process applications, sending residents home safely, so on and so forth. These are all practical tasks. So the number of civil servants mobilized will depend on the need. As I said just now, we are operating some service centers to help members of the public apply for emergency relief fund. We will be mobilizing more staff to handle applications from the public. With increase in manpower, we hope that applications for relief can be processed as quickly as possible so that the relief can reach the public very soon. Now, we've mobilized at least a few hundreds, and depending on the actual circumstances, we will deploy more staff to the front line to handle the situation. Next question, this lady.
TMHK, how ready do you think Hong Kong is dealing with extreme weather and also the economic and property loss brought by floods? And the second question on night economy, is there anything that you can share with us now, and how is the government planning to promote this? What is the government's role, and also how much economic benefits are you expecting? Thank you.
Well, in dealing with extreme weather, in my earlier conclusion, we have been doing what is expected under the present system. There are three areas of response. First of all is the alert, so that people will know about the coming of the extreme weather. The second is actually responding to the incident. And the third part is the recovery. I have very quickly done a re-examination of the whole process, and I think for the response and for the recovery, the government has been doing what is expected and required. And I thank the government officials and civil servants to devote sleeplessly and endlessly to these two important missions. As regards alert, early warning, as I have described, in regard to prediction on rainfalls, particular very unpredictable and always changing rainstorms, there is a limitation as to how at present scientific predictions can do. But I have also indicated that despite the limitations by science, we still have to think of other ways of helping people to get to know more information earlier and in bigger details. And this will include increasing the risk factor when we consider sending out alert signals. And also, when we give out information, can we increase the content, the different combination of aspects, including such as not just the level of rainfall, but maybe some stronger indication as to the direction where the rainstorm is heading. While there are limitations as a result of science, I think if we think more from the citizens' angle, where and what they want to make preparation, then we can improve the alert system. This is what I have asked the government to do, and we'll look at it seriously. But it is important for us to know that because of global warming, then the frequency of sudden and extreme weather condition may come more often than before. We will, of course, gather the experience in this incident and make us be more thorough to plan so that communication, equipment, the mobilization system, and most importantly, the early alert system can be done even more better as we progress in the future, into the future, as to deal with the rising frequency of such extreme weather. But I think we also have to be quite rational in regard to some facts. Over the years, we have been improving our response to all these extreme weather, in particular, the drainage system. We have reduced the flooding black spot from over 100 to what now remains as 4. That means we have a continual exercise to reduce the risk of flooding. We will continue to do that, and already the Secretary for Development has informed the public that the Relevant Department is doing an even long-term forward examination of how this should be done. And the review will probably finish sometime next year. And this is a reflection of the ongoing process of the government in anticipation of the rising frequency of extreme weather. But extreme weather, by its very name, means that no matter how well we try to prepare, there may still be possibilities that the actual suddenness and the concentration of the weather condition happens at all focus at some very small period of time, making what we have been trying to do also a challenging point. What I mean to say is, no matter how well we prepare, no matter what governments want to do, exactly in the same way as all governments in all cities try to do, the preparedness for extreme weather is on many folds, not just on ensuring our infrastructure is regularly and constantly improved, but also in regard to our response so that we deal with the actual incidents quickly and efficiently, as well as in the recovery. As I have said, we will get our experience in this incident, and then we will improve where we think we can. In regard to night activities, as I have said, we are doing all our best to ensure that Hong Kong can get back to full normalcy. Overall, I think generally Hong Kong has already returned to our normal life, although we still have to be careful about some flooding, some landslides, and there may be still some heavy rains or even thunderstorms. But I think overall, our alert system has been working since our recovering period. We just have to keep our guard up so that we will be able to get ourselves prepared. We don't, of course, anticipate that the rainfall and the thunderstorm will be of the same level of the century rainstorm we just experienced, but we shouldn't just ignore the risk. We have to be careful as well. As we are now going to normal life, as much as we are, then night activities promotion, I think, should continue, because we have recovered more or less from the rainstorm, and we should continue our normal life as much as we can. And economy is important, and our overall societal activities are important. So we will continue to do it, and we will make the announcement when we are ready.
時間關係呢，我哋解答最後一位。
We take the last question. The lady in black in the front. Good morning, Chief Executive. I'm from News. First of all, yesterday at Tseung Kwan O and Kwun Tong, there were flooding incidents. Will the government check and repair our drainage system to enhance our capacity to reduce the risk of flooding in various districts? And also, what is the progress of your preparation for the policy address? Besides night economy, what about day economy? Would there be any measures to boost day economy to help with people's livelihood? There are still flooding incidents in various localities for various reasons. There may be a very concentrated pattern of rainfall in a short span of time. For example, 100 millimeters of rainfall in an hour. That actually exceeds the threshold of the black rainstorm signal. It is just that the rainfall was concentrated in one district. That's why black rainstorm signal was not issued. Now, this risk still exists. And also, we are still receiving rainfall. It is still raining. Debris and rubbish may still block the drains. For that reason, we will continue our patrolling exercise. We will check the drains in various districts to see whether the lid is blocked by debris. Now, for the unfortunate events where heavy rainfall concentrates in one district, we will immediately make responses. We will deploy emergency teams to handle the matter, and we will enhance our patrol beforehand. In terms of enhancing the drainage services system in various districts, we do have a plan. We have drainage enhancements works being conducted in various districts. For high-risk areas exposed under the previous torrential rain, we will give priority to enhancing the drainage services system in those districts first. We will give priority to those risky areas first. These areas will be given priority in terms of drainage services system enhancements. In terms of boosting night economy, we have to ensure that our economy in general is robust as well. Now, our economy relies mainly on two pillars, that is consumption and tourism. The consumption on the figures for both consumption and tourism are on the rise, but still there is room for improvement. There is a shortage of manpower in many industries, which shortens the operating hours of businesses and hinder the delivery of services. This is a challenge. I agree we have to boost day economy as well. Now, the government's duty is to help and lead the private sector and the public to boost the economy. Of course, we will be collaborating with the private sector to boost the economy. We will listen to various suggestions on how we can boost night and day economy as well. Thank you very much. This is the end of the press conference. Thank you.